Olaosagie. I am on the Nation newspaper. I want to talk to you today about Edo 2016. You are chieftain of the APC.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll start right away. Do you think that the APC has done enough to go back to the Edo electorate to ask for another mandate for another candidate?
Yes, I want to say, at the risk of any contradiction, that Edo State is very lucky. Let us create some reflective spaces to look at where we are coming from, and of course where we are now, and where do we want to be in the unfolding dispensation. What readily comes to mind is that Edo State has been quite fortunate that this state has witnessed a long regime of underdevelopment, and we saw some shades of development in the past, occasioned by the likes of our father, Brigadier Osagie during his tenure as governor of Edo State. And after that, yes, some people tried within the limits of their capacity. But Nigerians, or particularly Edo State citizens, were hungry to see visible development, something unusual. And we were lucky to have a man that had this capacity to manage men and resources. A man of very striking intelligence, a labor leader par excellence, who came into the political process, and in 7.5 years, a bit more now, we have seen unprecedented developmental strides occasioned by various policies that brought about what we now see as visible development in all sectors of our national life. And we are still counting. That is not to say that we have gotten to where we ought to be. But there is hope. And therefore, to avoid the contamination of this process, we will need a continuation of these strides and this progress that we have made. And therefore, our political space is yearning for a leader, is yearning for a manager, very unusual manager, because the times have changed. The days of going to Abuja to collect handouts are over, in my opinion. At $110 per barrel, we did not manage the economy very well. Neither did we make savings for the rainy day. And therefore, what we see now is a plethora of problems hitting us in the face. So what we need is an intervention. We need a man that has uncommon exposure in the public sector and the private sector. That is where we are now.
Okay, it's very, very interesting. You said you need a man with all these qualities. In the field now, APC, you have plethora of candidates. My questions are: one, what do you think is best going to the rankless to create a united family for the election?
You see, the primaries, which is an internal process of a party, shouldn't ordinarily bring any rancor at all. But what I have seen, in my view, is that I've seen some desperate politicians. Politicians normally take advantage of periods like this because there are gains that are ancillary, to the process. So they see it as a period of harvest. They are the ones who suggest a hit of the polity. But my recommendation or prescription has always been, please go out there and market, your credentials. Go out there and talk about your pedigree to the voters who will make the decisions. We derive our powers as representatives of the people from the people. And therefore, the circus that I see and then this culture of lighting up a political space and create the impression that there's so much crisis is usually the work of, well, if I may ask, some fit columnists. They're always there because they can be talking to 2-3 candidates at the same time. They know where they are going to, but they want some gains, pecuniary gains from this, from that, and all of that. I want to see it as the problems that are usually associated with evolution. And all we need to do as players and stakeholders is to begin to remove the imaginary boundaries of partisanship and build a coalition of change army that will take us to our destination. It is a process, and to answer your question directly, I have seen the plethora of aspirants who are desirous of leading us and taking us to, wherever we are now is a journey, and we definitely need uncommon and very exemplary leaders to take us through this turbulence, so that Edo State citizens can at least continue to enjoy what in my opinion are some of the gains that we have recorded under Conrad Adams Oshiomholi's administration. I think in most of the sectors, if not all, some reasonable leaps have been recorded. And I want to believe that all those who are aspiring now as gubernatorial aspirants eminently qualify. But you need to take a helicopter view and to find out who is best suited for the job. And very clearly, it's only one person that must be chosen. So for me, my compass or my radar is hungry to pick a man that has that pedigree that will take us to where we want to be. And very clearly, in my view, I have looked at it. And at the risk of any contradiction, what comes to me very clearly is that we're looking for an unusual manager, a man that can creatively manage the meager resources of the state, a man who understands the policies of government and governance, a man that has been a player, and of course a man that has been in the policy cockpit of this government. Very clearly, my reader has picked Godwin Obaseki, somebody that has an intimidating track record in investment banking, in asset management, and trading, securities in the public sector as well, both locally and internationally. I am aware that he has been part of the team as project manager that led to the establishment of 2 new generation banks. Very intimidating educational pedigree: University of Ibadan, Columbia University, and Pace University, New York. A man that has been a member of the Presidential Council on Pensions Reforms, chairman of Edo State economic team for 7.5 years or more now. Very intimidating family pedigree, chairman of Free Invest. And over and above all of this, a man who believes that, look, service is about the people, and therefore his actions have been predicated on vision, purpose, integrity, leadership, and of course service. Pro bono. He has worked for this administration for 7.5 years or more without any income. And therefore, how selfless can a man be? So for me, I'm not under any illusion. Neither do I have a problem in pitching my tent with him or supporting him. I've endorsed him and several other people. When this project started, I were at the very embryonic stage, and people were saying that we don't know him, we don't know him. Yes, but today, I think the pages are unfolding now, and because a man cannot operate outside the limitations of his ability, we can see deficit in the disposition of some of the candidates very clearly, and therefore I will not. This is not post betting where you say let me try. You must be very, very clear about what you want to do. I know where we are coming from. I know where we are now. The strategy to take us to where we want to be can only come from a man who understands what it is to diagnose and come up with prescriptions. That's where we are now.
Yes, you did mention it that a lot of people said that it's relatively unknown in the political sphere of this state. How do you think that person?
His involvement in governance now has also prepared him, has gained some experience. And therefore, a combination of, mind you, I do not subscribe to, I have said it very clearly, because I am a politician. Politicians believe that this political space should be reserved for only politicians. I think we have gone past, because the challenges are new now. We are having very uncommon challenges. The days of going to Abuja to take handouts and come in, anybody can do that. If I need 4 billion and you give me 3 billion, it's very easy to sit in the comfort of your office to give instructions to your commissioners and your aides to distribute free assets. But now we are talking about uncommon times where you need to be very creative, where you will need to look at what are the new frontiers you want to break. You are looking at, look, do we now begin to sit down on a note of lamentation to see, oh, we can't go beyond this point? As I speak with you, I am aware that he has been in the engine room of some of the investments that we are seeing in Edo State. Dangote is coming in, to do a cement plant in Edo State. Azura West Africa is here. By the time these projects come up, people will be absorbed by way of employment, which is one of the fundamental problems we have in this country at the moment. And in any case, we may not even be able to utilize the power generation coming from Azura plant. We may even have to sell some of these megawatts to maybe other states or other places. That is where we are. And when you sit down to listen to Obaseki, I'm not under any contradiction that I believe that one, he eminently qualifies to be governor, and that is a classic gift to Edo State. Godwin Obaseki is a classic gift to Edo State.
Okay.
I am not. I'm even more concerned about our primaries, because we need this unity. I mean, this is a family affair. We need this unity. But beyond primaries, when he wins, not if he wins, when he wins, what we are likely to see, that might even be easier, you know, because if I were a member of PDP, I'm sure by now I would have resigned from politics. Yeah, because of the public odium around that party. If people sit down and people begin to talk about persecution, having stolen so much money, as if our national currency and foreign currency was going out of fashion. A man takes 800 million, you say, I don't know where it's coming from. You take 400 million. These were spokespersons of this same government yesterday. And then they ask you to come and explain. You run to the courts to say the courts should stop them from investigating you, from any arrest. And what kind of environment are we? What are we doing? I mean, the values are now upside down. So I do not have any problems with the general elections. I want to believe that that might even be easier, because one, they should talk to the people about what they did in 16 years. APC, we can see what Comrade Adams Oshomole has done in 7.5 years. We can see it is visible. We can see schools being rebuilt. When we were campaigning with Comrade Adams Oshomole, we went into a classroom one day, seeing some order coming in. How you manage the people, how you manage the resources. That is what we have seen now. And we see some strides. So it's only fair that we do not allow a contamination of the process. And that is why an Obaseki is the solution. So as we speak now, what we see coming into governance, they have looked at the books and they are seeing this kind of worms. And so they just, and let me give this to EFCC. I think for the first time, I'm seeing EFCC. I didn't know EFCC could get to this. I mean, this level of performance. I am very excited. That is not to say that they have gotten to where we ought to be in our corruption drive. I think the emphasis for this administration as we speak is to see what we can get, so that as much as possible, so that we can meet, and honor the obligations, to the citizens, and see how we can begin to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians, because politics is about the upliftment of the quality of lives of our people and the development of our environment. You need resources to prosecute this kind of agenda. That is where we are now. But beyond that, I also strongly recommend that we need to build very strong legal and institutional frameworks so that at the end of the day, the emphasis will not be on looking at individuals. Once you violate with impunity and you move against the law, it's very, very clear that there will be sanctions for these infractions. So once the institutions are strong, and of course the judiciary is very strong, and we have very strong people who will make the decisions at the end of the day based on the evidences before them, I think a lot of people eminently qualified to be in jails as we speak. But I also believe that we need some investments in some of our our facilities. You don't just dump people. What you do is allow people, keep them away, so that you see how you can make them better people. And the idea is not to keep people in a place of the most inhuman conditions. The most inhuman conditions. But I believe that as we speak, so many people who were part of the system eminently qualified to be in jailhouses, and so that we file them away and we know the number of persons who are rational that we can live with and interact with.
I want to, you have spoken at length about the federal government. So the federal government is making savings, or some of the states are flagrant. What do you think states can do to survive? You say the economy is on oxygen. How do we get the states to move out of this oxygenous situation?
Well,
because now the states wait for allocation. When it doesn't come, they look for bailouts. What do you think they should do? Especially in your own state, what do you think can be done to improve on what has been done?
Well, I think Edo State is a classical example of a state under the leadership of Comrade Adams Oshomoni, who has taking a very cursory look as to where we want to be, and I think they have been very proactive. When Comrade Adams Oshomoni came into power, or when he came in as governor of Edo State, the IGRO was oscillating around 300 to maybe 320 million or thereabout. And we have seen a movement that is unprecedented to nearly 2 billion a month. What has he done? He has looked at the tax net. He has looked at the tax administration. He has looked at our IGR. Before he came, people were helping themselves. He has said that several times, that taxes, the miserable taxes that we were collecting from you and I, people were using it to help themselves. And I also said that, I'm also aware that he said, the governor said, that some consultants were using that as a medium for also helping themselves. I don't have those details. But what we have seen now is that the intervention of the common governor in looking at the IGR is helping our statutory allocation as we speak. And that is why he's able to deliver on the promises that he has made. And that as we speak, it's not only that he's paying salaries as and when due. Contractors' obligations are also being met. This is one of the, I think, only 4 or 5 states that are able to pay salaries as and when due. And even recently, the man even went ahead to say that the minimum wage was going to go up to 25,000. When people cannot pay, some states now also they are waiting for another round of bailout. So how do you? So I see some of these governors are just lazy. Some of our governors are lazy. They are not proactive. They are not creative. That the help from Abuja, the monthly handout from Abuja has collapsed, and therefore their states have also collapsed. It shouldn't be. The word endorsement is not a Benin language. Neither is it an Edo language. And the word imposition is also not an Asako language or Isham language. It is in the dictionary. If I have worked for 7.5 years, and I have worked with some individuals around me, and I know the quality of individuals around me, of course, it's only fair that I protect my legacy. And the only way you can do that is to say, look, all these persons who are aspiring to be governors, all eminently qualified. But by my assessment, I think for consolidation of the gains that were made, I think this man, having been part of the policy cockpit of this government, having worked selflessly, I think he can continue from where I am likely to stop, so that the people can begin to enjoy the dividends of democracy. So, very clearly, without missing words, Comrade Adams Aliyu Shomole, the governor of Edo State, eminently qualifies, and it is within his right to identify with somebody that he feels, by his own assessment, can continue from wherever he stopped. Somebody that, by his own estimation, should even be able to do better because he understands the issues. And that is why he has identified, Godwin Obaseki. To lead, because you will not. This is not a child's play. And the challenges are now getting hydra-headed. The problems are getting hydra-headed. The problems that Oshomole inherited at that time, we still had resources. It's all that we needed somebody to, proactively manage our legal resources. And that's what he did to take us to where we are now. Now, with the collapse of the price of oil and reduction in crude oil output now, we are having more challenges now. I'm told now that we're producing about 1.1 million barrels per day now. I was a member of the Operations Committee. I represented Edo State as a member of the Operations Committee in the House of Representatives, 2011 to 2015. And some of the figures I saw at that time, I saw signals of, look, I can see challenges coming. And of course, after we left, the thing exploded. So the situation is different. So to answer your question, Comrade Adams Oshomole has a right to endorse a candidate. The right he doesn't have is to impose and vitiate the process. So in which case, the primaries will be conducted within the rules of engagement. That I can assure you. And the leadership of the party, wherever they came to Benin to talk to stakeholders, I was there, that the process will be free, credible, and of course will be fair to all the parties. I don't think there's anything to add. Comrade Adams Oshomole is not one company. This is not a local